being a real estate investor is not always sunshine and rainbows that some people make it seem to be. So I was at home, I was just relaxing, I wasn't doing much.
Mental health in general is a huge issue, but especially when it comes to men, obviously reading up on some stats even before this.
I think rates are going to continue to come down. Obviously, they went up so fast, the fastest in history. Welcome to another episode of the Refined Real Estate Podcast. Manny here with my co-host Ian. We are real estate investors based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, but we invest all across North America. We have a portfolio here in Halifax. We also have a large portfolio down in the States in Cleveland, Ohio. My co-host here, Ian, he's also a mortgage broker and real estate agent here in Halifax. So if you need any assistance in your buying needs, don't hesitate to reach out to him. As I say every single podcast, guys, please leave a like, comment, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us. It helps move the needle for us, helps more people hear our story, educate people on real estate investing and all things of being an entrepreneur. But Ian, how are you doing, man? How was the weekend?
Weekend was good, yeah. Lots of work actually. Showing some clients some investment properties. Got another full day of that coming up, so it's a bit of a marathon search. Active buyers ready to go, so hopefully I have some more updates on that. I'd say there's been a big spark in activity, both from the changes in the zoning. As well as a slight interest rate drop, as we all have heard, which is good news. Certainly trending in the right direction. I don't think we're going to get four rate cuts as was originally projected, but we'll take whatever we can get at this point. So I foresee we'll probably see another rate decrease in maybe another 2 months or so, but we've climbed the mountain of interest rates for the last basically 3-4 years now, and we've hit the peak, and now it's hopefully steadily on the way down. So activity is definitely on the rise.
Man, that's good for investors, obviously. So in your opinion, the sentiments from investors and anybody buying, just that 0.25 decrease has really sparked the market again?
More so the zoning changes is what I'm seeing. So again, I'm with clients that want to, buy a 3-4 unit building, see if they can add another unit, try to add some value that way. So that's definitely a big one. But even the reduced rate, even just a little bit, I think it's getting people a little bit more dialed in that, the end of the interest rate hikes are over for now, but that now they can get back to looking at deals, buying. So I think we'll definitely see a little bit of a spike, and it's just a natural market cycle. Like, the winter typically a lot slower. The spring was quite busy, but the summer and fall are going to continue to stay busy.
Nice. I also agree with you. I think rates are going to continue to come down. Obviously, they went up so fast, the fastest in history. And there's no way they're going to decline as fast, as much as we can all wish for that to happen. But I think, maybe at every single announcement, 0.25, maybe 0.5. And then over the next 2-3 years, if it gets back down to like the 3s or the 4s, like that's best case scenario. I was telling Ian, guys, I had a crazy situation transpire yesterday evening. And this just goes to show that being a real estate investor is not always, sunshine and rainbows that some people make it seem to be. So I was at home, I was just relaxing, I wasn't doing much, I was just on the computer doing some work. Then Michelle, my wife, texted me and she's like, Halifax Regional Police just called me. Can you give them a call back? I'm like, about what? What? And it was about our rental property that we own downtown on North Street. So I give them a call and they said there's been a situation and can you come down there? I'm like, oh my gosh, sure. I'll come down. 20 minutes away. I drove there and I got there and a police officer told me there was a gunshot. I'm like, oh man, what? A gunshot? The tenant I had in the back unit, unfortunately, committed suicide. He shot himself in the head. It's crazy. And the bullet went through I'm assuming like he shot upwards and the bullet went through the roof. And there was no tenants upstairs at the time, but the cops had to go and double check to make sure nobody was harmed or injured. So they had to break the deadbolt on the door to break into the unit, to go upstairs and just kind of inspect to make sure everything was fine. So that was one of the reasons they called me, because obviously they caused some damage and I need to fix that. But then at the same time, a guy just killed himself, and I asked if I could go in the unit to just kind of take a look around, and they advised me not to, because they had taken his body away, but they said like brain matter was all over the walls, and it was just quite the scene. And I didn't even bring a key with me because I didn't really. They didn't tell me what was going on, so I didn't bring anything. But yeah, that was shocking to say the least. This has been my favorite thing about that unit, that property, was that it was pretty low maintenance. Like I have not done anything to it in a while. Like there's no lawn, there's no like driveway, so like there's no maintenance, and like all the tenants were good. So I haven't heard anything in months, just kind of collecting rent. And then this bomb gets dropped on us, so it was pretty shocking. But yeah, nuts, absolutely nuts.
Man, yeah, I mean, thoughts and feelings definitely go out for the family members of your tenant. I mean, it's a really hard part of this business. I mean, that's you're not the only one to have this happen to you, but it's just in general, and maybe in some weird coincidence, it just happens to be Men's Health Month. So we wanted to take some time during this podcast to just go over some of that stuff because life is tough. It's not just all good and easy and fun, and you go buy a bunch of rental properties and life's good. I mean, like it's stressful out there. It truly is, and again, like I can't imagine what the family members are going through. I can't imagine what you and Michelle have to go through. I mean, it's certainly a tough situation, but these things can certainly be preventable. And I think, especially for men, like mental health in general is a huge issue, but especially when it comes to men, like obviously reading up on some stats even before this, just the fact that it is that June is men's health mental health month. But some of the big stats getting thrown around are that 1 in 10 men actually suffer from depression, anxiety, and less than half of those men receive any form of treatment for it. And I think it's just again part of the culture that we're in. It's you got to just man up or toughen up or just move yourself through it, but it's not that easy. Like depression is something that is very prevalent out there, and untreated or untalked about or just bottled up. Um, you find yourself in these types of situations, and it's just no one benefits from that. So yeah, very very tough. And I know in regards to suicide, men are there's 4 times as many male deaths as there are female for suicide when it comes to this. So it's yeah, it's certainly something that's really tough. And yeah, we're not really in the type of society that allows for men to get that help. I mean, there's programs out there. So yeah, if anyone listening to this is suffering or going through anything, the helpline is for Nova Scotia, it's CMHA. And the number is 1-833-456-4566. Um, and yeah, man, they're set up to help people through these situations, to show you that things may be hard, but there's certainly a way through it. And look on the bright side of things, like we live in a great city, as much as we might bash some of the politics or some of the rules or something like that. Overall, you have access to healthcare. We've got beautiful views. We got lively events. We've got all these great things going on. And I think a lot of that conversation is just steering towards people focusing on those good things. So yeah, it's a shame that your tenant just didn't receive the help that they needed, and I think things could have been very different.
I think so as well. I had only met the guy once, I believe, just because the property managers kind of dealt with everything. And yeah, when I called Nat, he's like, "How are you feeling?" Like to myself, and I, I was fine. And I say this because my healthcare background. My wife Michelle, we're both nurses, so like we've seen our fair share of death, and it's not that we become desensitized to it. Like obviously, anyone dying at any time is sad. We feel that, but I didn't know the guy. Like you said, condolences to his sister and his friend. I'm not quite sure what his family relations were. The police actually gave me a call this morning and gave me their contact information, just a sister and friend, so they can come clean out his apartment and take his things. But it is sad. And growing up, I never really understood mental health that well. And I admit that, especially as someone that is a registered nurse. Like I've obviously been educated along the way here, but I just thought like, why are you so sad? Like just cheer up. That was my mentality. It's because me myself, if anybody knows me, I'm the most chill, relaxed dude you'll ever meet. Of course, when life gets busy or something, I can get a little anxious, but like a natural reaction, a natural anxiousness, nothing, clinically diagnosable, right? So it didn't click for me. How can somebody just be anxious for no reason, or how can somebody be sad for no reason? And as I've aged and as I've learn more. It's a chemical imbalance in people's brains. It's beyond their control. It's not just cheer up doesn't work. Just talk to someone. Sometimes you can have all the therapy in the world. It doesn't work. I'm a kind of guy that I don't really like medications. I don't like prescribing meds immediately. But like I think there should be steps taken before you get to that point. But sometimes people just need medication. Like if the imbalance in your brain is just so messed up and there's nothing you can do, sometimes you need meds. um yeah, it's a very complex world, mental health. And yeah, it's a shame, especially like you said, for men, how they kill themselves much more than women. It's just because the means of which a man will kill himself, like this guy, used a gun. It's pretty final. I don't know the statistics about how women commit suicide, so this is just I'm just talking here. Like if they take pills or something, pills would definitely do the job, whatever pills they are. But there's a chance that they might not work. You know what I mean? Maybe you didn't take enough, or somebody finds you before they kind of do the effect and they're able to save you. Whereas if you shoot yourself in the head, there's very, very little chance of survival. I actually have heard of guys, and I remember actually as a patient, a student, a guy did the same thing, shot himself in the head, but he somehow, the angle of it didn't kill him. So like he just like shot half of his face off, but now like he was in the hospital and he was able to just kind of survive it. Crazy. Um, but yeah, guys, I don't want to you'll never hear me talking down on mental health. Like I think it's a serious problem in society, and in this guy's situation, I wish he was able to talk to somebody. There's really nothing I could have done. Honestly, I thought to myself, is there anything I could have done to prevent this? And there's nothing. I didn't. I had no connection with this guy. Um, but yeah, it's just sad. It's just a sad situation.
Yeah, it is tough, and yeah, there is help out there for, again, anyone that is suffering. I mean, again, life's hard, and there are lots of resources out there, and I definitely encourage people to take advantage of those resources if things aren't going well for you. So yeah, absolutely. So that's again a bit of our sad story for the day, but just a reminder that men's mental health month is designed to have these types of conversations, to get this information out there. Yeah, everyone, I strongly encourage you to take advantage of the resources that are out there, because that's what they're there for, and everyone's situations much different, but a lot of the feelings can be similar, and sometimes things can seem just absolutely dire, and that's what these resources are for. Because you can always crawl out of a bad situation if you keep fighting, and that's of course what we want people to focus on.
I was just gonna say, the mental health care system here in Halifax, it's very poor. Um, just like all healthcare, to be honest with you, but specifically around mental health, it's underfunded. There's not enough education, and it's just a shame. Even like to connect this all with housing, like a lot of the people that are homeless and living in tents, there's an obvious, not obvious, sorry, there's definitely a lot of people that are struggling with mental health issues, mental health, substance abuse. All of these things go hand in hand, along with not being able to afford housing. These three things just are just like, I don't know, they go hand in hand. So it's just unfortunate that we don't have any systems in place to kind of prevent this or help them. I don't know what can be created. I try to think about it. Like, I don't know. To create a section of the hospital that's specifically for mental health. We have those, but there's like a couple of floors. The NS hospital that we have downtown in Dartmouth, that's for people, a lot of them struggling with mental health. But just because somebody has mental health issues doesn't mean they have to be admitted to be an inpatient in a hospital, right? Like there should be some sort of resources in place outside of just like these phone calls, or maybe I should do some more research and see like how many times like people actually call these hotlines when they need help. Um, there's just so many factors. Honestly, like this whole situation just makes me think about the mental health crisis more and more. I've always thought about it. Like I'm aware of it. It's been predominant. Obviously, like the past several years. What's it called Bell Health. Let's talk. Um, they have that. I think it's every. I don't know if it's every February, but anyways, it's been prominent for years now. So mental health is not a new thing by any means, but it's just like this is like the first time something has happened directly correlated to me, where it's like, wow, okay, I wish. Is there something I can do, or is there something I can create to help people with mental health? You know how Ian, me and you were talking about just like kind of creating some sort of tech startup. It's like, wow, can we create something that will help people with mental health? Is there something? There's got to be something that can be done. We talk about how we're entrepreneurs. We find problems and we try to fix it. Like this could be a problem for us or any of our listeners to kind of fix. This is a major problem, so it helps society. So it's just something to keep in mind too for anybody that's listening to this and they like to find solutions to problems, because the mental health care system, not just in Nova Scotia, but I find like all Western civilization, it's very underfunded and very poor.
So, okay, guys, that was some heavy stuff, but let's transition into some other stuff. So, let's jump into our 97 unit update. So, as you guys know, that have regularly tuned in, we're buying a 97 unit down in Cleveland, Ohio. Purchase price a little over 4 million, but needs a bunch of work. So, we are very much so in the due diligence phase. Actually, we're going to get some of our engineering reports back in the next day or so, which are going to help us determine if our capital expenditure budget is sufficient or if there's any downfalls in that. So a lot of meetings in regards to reports, environmentals, structural, engineering, elevators, roof, all that type of stuff. So it's still quite very busy there, as well as we are raising funds. Fundraise has yeah, it's been a roller coaster. You'll have a lot of promising people on the line that before we were ready to actually take funds, they said they were all in, and now when it's time to actually transfer the money, there's a million more questions. They want to chat with the lawyers, the accountants, which is totally fine. But it's been resources available for a while. So, long story short, yeah, you always want to give yourself ample time to raise, and you want to give yourself ample options of individuals to fund your project. So, again, with two phone calls, we might have the deal fully funded. Until then, it's still a matter of just going through the paces and reaching out to lots of people in our network. And yeah, Manny, what's your thoughts been on the raise so far?
Yeah, man. People talk is cheap. That's kind of the sentiment that I'd pass along to investors when you're raising capital. Until they sign that check and it gets or wire that money, don't really consider you have the deal just yet, because it's obvious. Everybody loves an idea. Everyone loves deals, in theory and on paper. But when it's time to send that money, people become hesitant. That's when, oh, I got to talk to my wife. Oh, I got to, talk to somebody else first. Oh, I got to double check this, and that. So, again, that's not to talk down on anybody. Like when you invest, you know, six figures into any investment, I want you to obviously take your time and make sure it's the right investment for you. But just from the investor standpoint, it's just like this is a theme that we've noticed here now for multiple deals, and it's not just us. Our mentors, coaches, they've dealt with the same issues over time. So this is just a common thing. But yeah, we're fully in the thick of it now. I think I'm confident in our ability as a team to get this done. But now, like the pressure's on, and there's diamonds are made under pressure. That silly little meme type of thing. So we'll get through it and we'll get this deal done. But yeah, now things get fun and interesting.
Yeah. And for us too, we know what our like we have about a month and a half or so until we need all the funds in for just, the down payment. So we're well over halfway to hitting that original benchmark. So like, well, yeah, we're in good shape. But as you guys know, that have listened to the podcast before, we want to have more than enough money raised over the life of this deal. So it'd be nice if we had all the funds fully raised for the whole project before we closed. But that we've put ourselves in a situation where we don't need to do that. So we basically just need enough down for down payment and just some of the contingency funds. So yeah, we'll be in good shape. It's just a matter of yeah, it's probably going to take us another 3 months or so to get the full raise done. So on that, if anyone has any questions or would like to know any more information on the deal, happily reach out. We are very dialed in on our pitches now. We have all the information. So if anyone wants to see what investing in a deal like this looks like, yeah, we're happy to answer some questions.
No, big time. This is yeah, we've been speaking highly of this deal for like, geez, I feel like it's been at least like 6 weeks. It must be like the sixth pod we've talked about this deal. People are like, when are these guys going to close this thing? And I think it goes to show like these things take time, obviously, but this is a solid deal, guys. So yeah, we just reach out to us privately, individually, give us a text or message us on Instagram, and we can talk more about the deal and the situation. And yeah, we'd love to bring anybody on board that's obviously an accredited investor or friends and family, but we can't. Yeah, just talk to us privately, and we can dive into things a little further. But other than that, man, I think it's going well. We'll get it done. We'll get it done, guys, and yeah, it'll be a fun ride. It'll be a fun ride for sure. But I don't know. Other than that, Ian, I had. Do you guys? I don't know if our listeners remember back when Janelle was hosting along with us, we had like these little moments of like little insight. I think I forget what Janelle's was. Did Janelle have one? She must have had one. It started with a J. Janelle's, I don't know, something. And then your Ian's insights, Manny's moments or whatever. But I have one little kind of tidbit that I wanted to pass along to investors, and I'm going to correlate it with jujitsu. Last week, I was watching these two guys roll. One was a black belt, and one was like a 2 or 3 stripe purple belt. So for the belt system, if anyone doesn't know, it's white, beginner, blue, purple, brown, black. So if you get to purple, you're very good. And obviously, if you get to black, you're very, very, very good. And this one specific purple belt, I've rolled with him many times. He's very good. He always destroys me. But then I watched this black belt roll with this guy, this purple belt, and he absolutely killed him. And it wasn't how he killed him. It was just like the techniques that he used were the most basic and simple techniques, but with such precision and pressure and no space that it was just amazing to watch. And this reminded me about real estate because some of the techniques that we use in real estate, they're very basic, like these core skills that you learn as an investor, they're very, very basic. But the best investors, they just do these things and tasks with such precision that it just works perfectly. What's that? I don't know who said that saying a while back, where it's like, I don't fear the man that's practiced 10,000 moves once. I fear the guy that's practiced one move 10,000 times. It's that same concept, whether it be jiu-jitsu or whether it be real estate. If you've done the same negotiation tactic, or if you've done the same strategy, or you've talked to a million real estate investors, or sellers, and you're a buyer, and you just have that that muscle built up on how to negotiate, how to do things properly. You're doing the most simple things: door knocking, cold calling, outreach, all that stuff. But you do it with precision, and you do it like just perfectly on point, and then you make it look so easy, and then you get the deal done. Or if it's jiu-jitsu, you get the submission. Whereas an outsider looking in, like if I try to do that stuff as a white belt, like I struggle. I can't do it. Or if I'm a new investor and I try to negotiate a deal, I don't do it. It's not successful. It's the same concept, guys. So I just thought it was very cool. I'd like to pass that along to you guys, that even though you're new at whatever strategy you're doing, whether it be real estate, jiu-jitsu, whatever, it's gonna be hard at first, but as you do it longer and longer, years and years, you get better. You get better, and 10 years from now, you look back and it'll be like night and day. And yeah, I just wanted to pass that along, guys, because I think it's very important. And yeah, just watching that black belt just dominate that purple belt. That purple belt is still very good too, but we're talking maybe years and years of experience between the two. That's like somebody, who's just starting real estate now, trying to invest in one of these big deals that we're doing, versus us and our team investing in that deal. Like, it'll just go horribly for them, right? But for us, we're sophisticated. We know what we're doing. We've been through, our own trials and tribulations, and we were able to kind of get through it. But yeah, that's Manny's moments for the week. But guys, I think we'll wrap it up on that note. I want to thank you guys for listening. We know it's been a heavy podcast for sure. The mental health stuff, my tenant passing away so suddenly. We would like to please, anyone that's going through those types of hurdles and struggles, reach out to somebody, a friend or a family, or the phone number that Ian mentioned at the start of the call, the hotline of sorts, because yeah, just talk it out. Talk it out. Don't I don't want to say don't commit suicide, but that should be a last resort. Or if no resort, I don't think anyone should do it. That's another conversation. We can dive into that. There's a whole thing. It's called MAID in Canada, Medical Assistance in Dying. If you really feel that's like an option for you, but I don't think that, in my personal opinion, it shouldn't be a thing. You know what? Maybe it should be a thing. I don't want someone to listen to this and be like, "Hey, Manny's against MAID." That's not what I'm saying. I just think death is such a final thing that it cannot be taken lightly, and you should talk to different medical health professionals before that even begins to cross your mind. And suicide's obviously not made at all. It's sudden. I understand that people that do it, they're distraught. I can't imagine what they're feeling like. So I just want to I'm rambling at this point, but I just want to say, our condolences to anyone that kind of goes through those struggles, and please reach out to somebody and talk it out. And on that note, guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share this podcast with anybody that's not just a real estate investor, but anyone that that's going through any kind of mental health hurdle or any struggles, so we can kind of help them, or somebody can help them. So on that note, guys, have a good week. We'll talk to you soon.